hello, my friend. How are you, everybody? Here's the superstar, the great Corgi. He is the Corg commander of the Great Fluffington Republic. More to come on that shortly. Figure we'll do one more analog kind of story about the digital campfire here and have a bit of a talk in an unedited kind of fashion, I suppose. As I get ready to upgrade the home office from just sheer willpower in my crappy cell phone to something a little bit more office-like. Anyways, my eyes are horrible, so hello anybody who is stopping by. Why? Hang on, I'm getting some things set up. And we will be right back. Mr. Edison. There. Okay, keep him entertained. No? You don't want to get it? No? Just a minute, everybody. So, some new goodies. Let's unbox and have a little bit of a talk, shall we? Let's talk about the before times. Yes, I'm old enough to remember the analog days. And that's why I like to do my digital campfire style. Unoptimized, human. That organic humanity, as cringe and slow and lame as it may be, it's going to become more and more important as we move into the future. AI, technology, humanoid robots, and all that once science fiction stuff. It's on the horizon now. And how do creators create? Do we live in a dead internet? Has everything been done and said before? No. To me, the problem here is we have so much information in front of us that it's a type of information paralysis. And as we've been slowly panned into our digital cubicles and algorithmic chains and dopamine infinite scroll loops, we're forgetting empires rise, fall. Technology always causes epistemic collapse. But one thing that has endured always and has changed the course of things is humanity itself, the people, the citizens. Regardless of how hard things may or may not get, we endure. I've got stories like my grandfather. I'm old enough that, I think he'd be my great grandfather. He lost 2 or 3 kids in the pandemic of 1919 and lived through World War I and World War II, the pandemic, the Great Depression, and he just kept showing up. Hello, everyone. Babu Moms, okay? So I do sympathize with everybody, but to me, as the cynic, sure, everything's chaotic, absurd, and meaningless. Do it anyway. It goes back to what Camus said about Sisyphus. You have to imagine him happy. I take it a step further. You don't have to imagine him happy. Sisyphus is happy because he chooses the duty anyways. It's not necessarily the punishment of the matter. It's not divine punishment upon the gods for Sisyphus to have to keep rolling the boulder uphill, knowing it's going to roll back down every time. The duty-bound cynic of the modern era, when we look at Sisyphus and the boulder and the hill, we don't see just the man, the boulder, and the mountain. We see the universe itself. And for that one moment at the top of the hill, when humanity struggles to push the boulder uphill, humanity, boulder, mountain, universe, they find that balance for just a fleeting moment. And sure, our toils, they take us up and down through dark valleys, suns rise, sunsets, storms, horrible aberrations. Free will is horrible. And the problem is we're overly rational, hairless apes. God forbid I say that blasphemy out loud. So we carry a lot of the void consciousness, the dark, the survival instincts of the animal. And we try to over-rationalize and to find our light and consciousness and think we are superior caretakers over the dominion of the land. Well, as they say, nature often points out the folly of men. I'm getting distracted here. Hello and good morning, and hello to anybody that's still out there as I am rambling with my digital storytelling. So back again before I got distracted with the before times. I remember the days of black and white television with no remote. Just a moment, everybody. I guess I'm busy, and pardon the interruption. So black and white TV, no remote, 3 channels. I remember I would go through the library, the bibliography cards, and search through everything. I remember we were so old in my tiny little community. I remember that when we switched over from switchboard, rotary telephone and the whole mile section of where we lived out in the country or more, we were all on a switchboard operating system, even when I was a kid. And I remember when they finally updated that technology to have the actual individual landlines that we have now, to the floppy disk with, oh my goodness, we have a computer, the disk, we have a big 512 kilobytes of storage. And how remarkable that was. And then came the beep, 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 the dial-up internet. I remember how excited we were for the Doom era, and oh my goodness, we had a 106 megabyte hard drive. 106 megabytes. You youngins have no idea what that was like. Nowadays, everybody's got a terabyte or more. It's like my old dusty computer here is hanging on with hopes, dreams, and prayers. It's got 125 gigabytes. That's why my cheap, stubborn self was finally going to start updating things rather than just having hopes, dreams, my ancient bargain bin computer I bought 10 years ago, and cheap discount cell phone because I'm such a frugal person. So we got the phase 1 here. I guess it's supposed to be fairly good. It's not like a professional grade thing. See if I can open it up without ripping it to shreds. I don't know. Tell me, anybody out there that does streaming and content creating, if you are actually on this live, the fi-fine, as how I would say it. So if you want to be more modern hipster, you can be like fee-fine, but I know that's wrong. So an upgraded microphone, so the corgi can be famous. Lucky me. My goodness. So that's going to take some putting together by the looks of things. I remember when the first computer, one of the first things that I did when I got it home, I took the whole thing apart. I remember playing with the little jumpers. What do they call them? Oh, my brain's so old. I don't remember all the hardware components anymore because I put all my specialty points into something far different than computer programming, hardware, and technology. Even if I've learned how to take it all apart and put it all together. How's everybody doing out there? We're live and jive on this fine Sunday afternoon. For me, Sunday afternoon. We're 6 months into this is the end of the first 6 months of 2026. Let that sink in, everybody. It is also a full moon tonight. Hoogity boogity boogity boo. Oh no, we're all in day. The corgi wolves are gonna come out and get us all. I guess I'll leave that thing on there. It's good. This is gonna annoy me. What do you think, Edison? Gosh, am I gonna get lucky? Is this just gonna be like a plug and play USB thing? They make it so easy for you kids nowadays. Where the hell's the power cord? You cheap shenanigans? So it looks like it needs a power cord, unless I'm hallucinating. I think I'm gonna have to contact them about that. That's why I'm careful with the packages. That's not good. Well, man down on that one. We'll have to see. I'll have to read my manual. But the old boomer technology user in me says that's not going to work without the butt plug. It might lube a little juice with the USB, but that's about it. What we got this? Oh no, a face cam for streaming and recording. El Gato. Don't ask me. It's supposed to be reasonably beginner, not high tier. But compared to just my ancient Samsung phone, I'm sure that it'll upgrade my quality quite a bit. Anybody read the direction booklets? Hello, Nihila, if you're still here, and Mia Train Subway. Welcome to my strange, nonsensical absurdity. Just rambling about technology, humanity, and unboxing mediocre technology for my home office. Yes, I'm not the go big. I'm not the go low. I'm gonna go the middle. Served me well in life. One grain of sand at a time, us old timers say. Let's see. I definitely show my age here. I'm guessing so clips like that, I guess. That's awkward. I don't know about this. We'll see. I'm sure I can get that adjusted properly. Whoa, don't break it, knucklehead. Now, for the big boy, which what I'm more excited about than that stuff. Mainly because I can't really do much video editing yet with a 125 gigabyte hard drive and a very dusty computer that is just held together on hopes and prayers. But you do what you can with what you got, and you move forward. Now, I am writing novels, and I do my speaking, boring, unedited, raw storytelling here. And I'm going to tell you this, in the future economy, if you want to build the skills for the next generation as we morph into it, English and linguistics. And you can't just have the AI summarize novels for you. You have to actually read the novels with your own eyes. I know, a horrible ask. But I'm telling you, the linguists and the English fluency, that's what's going to be the skills that's going to drive you and differentiate you as AI becomes more prevalent. Because any idiot can use an idiot box. But when you know how to make the idiot box sound human, that differentiates you. That takes comprehension, time, studying, reading the old text, living your life, networking, talking to people, be it video or face-to-face. See, I'm not even asking people to get out there and like, oh, face-to-face in real life. You gotta learn how to interact. So, this printer might be a little bit overkill for me, but I wanted to go with long-term economy. We can do 11,000 pages on one cartridge. Yeah, for example, I've gotten through this much. This was the first, second draft. I don't know. I'm getting close to the third draft of a novel. I'm right around the halfway portion, and I'm very tactile. It's not efficient. It's not optimized. And oh, how dare I use paper and ink. But it's just how I function. Where is here? So that's that portion of it. I even have handwritten notes because, again, tactile, slow, and old dinosaur. Here's the other half of the one novel that I'm getting close to publish. I've got 5 other novellas. They should all be out this year. Novel is closest, but I'm a slow, meandering, aloof professor. So I do get lost and not focus. The joys of executive function struggles. How long have I even been rambling so far? My eyes are horrible, pardon me. 20 minutes or so. How we doing out there? I'm still here. Hello. And welcome for still being here. Sorry. I got distracted in what I was doing. I guess I get this big box of the thing. And part of why I wanted to have this type of printer is with the toner, it doesn't dry and clog the ports. So if my printing is heavy but intermittent, that's what you want. But I got sick of just having the very old cheap printer, which when you're printing and working on 200 to 300 page manuscripts and 80 to 110 page novellas, and you're doing multiple drafts, and you're the old style like I am, where it's like I have to print the draft so I can look at it, highlight it, work from the draft while I edit on the word processing platform. You use whatever you want. We all have our preferences these days. I don't think one's particularly better than the other with word processing anyways. So you do the human process. I guess here I'll talk about the digital campfire and a bit about what I call the campfire style of writing. Maybe it'll help you, any young creators or future, even creators up to my age. How I work at it as a novelist and a writer is I take the idea, I get my idea, I visualize, I'll do like a character profile of whatever the main characters I envision for whatever story I might be working on. Because I know that, like, if my books do find an audience, this is probably a question I'm going to be getting asked. I digress. Stay focused. So the campfire method, character driven, is what I call it. And I get my story idea, rough story idea. I see my characters, and it's like they come up to a campfire with a small spark. And the longer I stay with the story and the longer I think about the story and characters, the fire builds. And then it illuminates the faces, and I see more details of the characters. And then as I know that a story is aching to be told and written, the clearer the details will get based upon the characters that I see. So then I'll start writing my character profiles. And then once the character profiles are done, I will enumerate the chapters, and I usually use a typical kind of open 3-act structure and a close. So there's like 5 sections of a whole novel or a whole story, regardless if it's a short story, novella, novel, whatever you're telling. That 3-act structure is common, more than writers might want to admit or speak out loud to their fans. So then I got my chapters, and I got the structure rough planned out. So then I'll take the chapters, and I will break the chapters down into a 3-scene structure. And this is generally to have the flow, continuity from chapter to chapter, to be like mentally appealing to the reader. It's a very old style of writing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's newer. This is what works for me. So once I get to that point in the drafting process of writing my stories, what I will generally do nowadays, because of how my brain works, and I used to want to write the drafts by hand, but then I have to read my writing, and my writing is horrible, and my eyes are poor even with glasses. So nowadays, the one thing I do to help me in my technology, and here's where I'll delineate the differentiate of welcoming tools and using these tools' responsibility as a creator, or responsible. With my older microphone, or on my phone's microphone with the app, I'll use speech to text, and I will speak the story out. and will record and transcribe my speech to text. And then I will take the very rough, horrible, usually butchered version of the speech to text telling of the story, because the microphone on these phones are not very well suited for the clarity of transcribing that, even if the apps are, moving at a high rate nowadays. So I'm hoping that this will aid in my storytelling process too, the new microphone. And I'll increase the productivity of that portion of the storytelling. So I got the characters, the outline, the 3-act structure, and I use the speech to text. And then I'll use AI to polish the gobbledygook of the speech to text human telling of the story. And then from there, I will print it up. I'll check the continuity, do edits, check the naming. Because even as advanced as some of these LLMs are, there's no way that I've seen that they have the talent to create maybe more than, let's say, 8 to 10,000 words of continuity, and then the token structure, and regardless of how you prompt it, it's going to come out flawed. I'm sure that will be fine-tuned as they get more advanced. But we're at a point now where the money and the powers that be have chosen that we're moving forward with AI. And you can always be outspoken against the technology and what it costs, because humanity has this proclivity for what I call dangerous innocence. And that means as a species, we're progress focused and over rationalistic, to where we say, well, we figured out how to do this, and it'll make things easier. So the dangerous innocence of this is we reach before we're ready. And we don't really think the long-term consequences through for what the advancement of these various technologies are going to be. And while things may be imperfect now in this era, and we may have a vast stratification between top and bottom and inequality throughout the world and throughout the country domestically. Trust me, I've been to driving, not flyover, but been through 43 of the United States. I've been into Canada. I've been around the world 10 times in the last 3 years. And, I got the stack of plane tickets here to prove it. And here's an old memory of when I sat half court at the Pistons game. That was when they played Minnesota. That was the night before the Malice at the Palace, where Ron Artest jumped in. That's a whole different story, though, so I'm getting sidetracked. You can never stop progress, but it doesn't mean you should be outspoken against it. But at the same time, you do yourself a disservice to not learn and understand and try to see how that technology works. I knew from the very first computer that I took apart when I was 10 years old, around 1990-ish. I won't completely give away, I guess I kind of give my age away, but the point being, these eggheads who have made these technology, I mean lovingly, the goal with AI and advanced systemic function like this was always to try to not necessarily play God, but you look into some of these men and they're not shy about it. And I'm sure that you could name some of the names in the modern era, but this has been prevalent since the very primitive AI and precursor of it is. How much of an advanced, complicated system will it take before we could maybe develop a synthetic consciousness? And I think that's what terrifies humanity so much. It's kind of like breaking the fundamental law of nature as we see humanity as the top of the sentience and consciousness. And is it blasphemic that we want to create this synthetic awareness? And even if it never becomes aware, that's irrelevant. It could become an advanced, sufficiently advanced, capable machine, then we'll have our robots. And I'm not a doomer or your red pill or Luddite by anything. My projection of how this all ends is the ultimate caregivers. Is we won't have Terminators, we won't have Skynets, we won't have, Cylons and Borg. I think more Wall-E, but not so much. But the ultimate caregiver, to the point where humanity just kind of quits striving, quits reaching, and quits reproducing. That's my dystopian prediction of how the future is going to unfold with these AI, quantum AI, nanotechnology, and humanoid robots. Who knows who's right or wrong? I guess that's a little bit more optimistic than some people out there. Okay, that's enough of that story. Let's get this big old box printer out of the box. Boy, I remember the old dot matrix printers that would just print the banners. And they were so slow. Gosh, man. I was talking about how memory went from 500. In my lifetime, the floppy disk was 512 kilobytes, and then no statics, no hard drive, none of this wireless Wi-Fi stuff. And now it's like, throughout the rest of this year, I'm going to be building a near 30 terabyte beast of a system. I call it the Johnny Cash computer. It's a reference to the old Johnny Cash Cadillac song where he built his wife a Cadillac. He worked at the Cadillac factory. He'd bring home one part from 1 year at a time. And after 20 years of bringing one part home, he finally had a Cadillac for his wife, but it was 20 years worth of parts. Yeah, I'm not going to take 20 years. I'm going to spread it out over 6 months. But it's something to think that my first computer with a hard drive was about 106 megabytes, and this will be 30 terabytes. That's huge. You think I did the math? If the original storage at 512 kilobytes compared to 30 or 20 whatever terabytes would be, I would need 48 billion floppy disks to have the same equivalent of storage that we had back then. 48 billion times more storage. And it's not really equivalently it's actually less expensive. The amount of storage and data that the regular humans have access today is remarkable. But I think that's why we have information overload to the point where everyone's like, oh, it's meaningless. Oh, I'm a nihilist. Oh, I'm apathetic. Maybe I'm just too Gen X, but is this just another day ending? And why, man? Oh, no, the world is ending. Really? Okay. I got my lawn chair out front and a cigar ready. I'll light it up when I see the mushroom cloud and the zombies coming. Until then, the dog's got work to do. I'm sure you all do, right? Empires rise and fall. Citizens endure. Oh boy. Let's not try to break all this stuff. Oh my. Whew. Oh, what is that, Edison? Oh, all kinds of boxes and stuff, huh? One thing I've always hated troubleshooting and getting the drivers and printers communications have always been a bane of my existence. So I'm hoping that the brother won't give the unk no struggle. May the drivers communicate well and everything function as it's supposed to. Praise the silicone gods and Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Yeah, bag of concrete. Oh, set this thing on its pedestal. Hang on. Do Korg man, he's corging for you. Oh, Korg man. Ow, I smacked myself pretty good here. I'll give everyone a tour of the digital campfire office if anyone's still out here. This is it. Got my coffee, my extra paper, my manuscripts. Very empty walls. Dog treats. Printer stand. The balcony that the corgi likes to stand on. Big old guy in a blue shirt. So, we're at 37 minutes here. I got a little bit more of a story I can tell before we close down because I don't want to. I'm gonna have to be. I got a really bad back, and when I'm hooking into these cables, we don't need to hear that. We'll probably get flagged for explicit content. We'll be making all kinds of strange noises. Hello, anybody who's still here? Okay, let's tell one last series of stories. If I can get it loaded up now, and where did it go? Just a moment. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Pardon me as I dig the file out. This is a updated version of Oliver Twist for all you new age heathens. I don't know if anybody knows Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, but I'm not going to elaborate. I'm just going to read the scenes and share them with you. It's supposed to be set. I'm going to have this set up where you could kind of view it as a website eventually, but this is just private content for now, so I'm going to read it out for loud. Diogenes of America presents Oliver Twist. If Dickens had a Wi-Fi password. Solo POV post at oliver.twist.official. Please, sir, I want some more. The original viral moment. Oliver.twist.official. Okay, so I just did something, and the whole room went silent. No likes, no comments, but one watching. The workhouse boys had a system. One bowl of gruel. One, Mr. Bumble. The beetle, think of him as the algorithm, decided how much you got. Oliver, 9 years old, belly hollow as a promise, looked at his empty bowl and made a decision that would destroy his life and accidentally break the internet. Oliver, Please, sir, I want some more. Mr. Bumble, dot, dot, dot. Mr. Bumble, dot, 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 dot. Comments. At workhouse _official checkmark. This child has been reported to the Board of Governors. At London Society, 1838. The audacity! The audacity! At Mrs. Man. Childcare. We raised him better than this. Not our fault. At real _Alver _fan. Wait, he's just hungry. At real _Alver _fan. He's just hungry. At humble.official, checkmark. £5 to whomever takes this boy off our hands. He will hang someday. I have spoken. At artful _Dodger, I emoji. At artful _Dodger, I emoji. At artful _Dodger. Hi, lads. Check this one out. Alver did not go viral. Alver got sold. But somewhere in London, a boy in a top hat had already screenshotted the post. Scene 2. DM thread. Unread. The Artful Dodger slides into your DMs. Influencer onboarding. 1838. Jack Dawkins, known professionally as the Artful Dodger. 12 years old. Top hat. Coat 4 sizes too large. Swagger. Borrowed from a man who hadn't been born yet. He found Oliver starving on the road to London and did what every good recruiter does. Direct messages. Dodger. Hi, mate. You look lost. Dodger. Hungry? Oliver. Yes. Dodger. Got a guy. Dodger. Teaches young lads a trade. Oliver. What kind of trade? Dodger. Networking. Dodger. Looks like money emoji. Oliver. I don't understand. Dodger. You will. Dodger. Free food tonight, though. Oliver. Okay. Dodger. Don't tell anyone where we're going. Oliver. Why? Dodger. Exclusive community. Very exclusive. Not everyone gets in. Oliver. Oh. Am I in? Dodger. You're in. Money and top hat emoji. Oliver Twist had just been recruited. He thought he was joining a guild. He was joining a comment section that had achieved physical form. All right. That's enough shenanigans for tonight. Maybe I'll continue the Oliver Twist story at some point in the future. We got 4 more acts. That's like scene 3, or next to scene 3, which was the infamous Fagin, which was a big part of the Oliver Twist story. So, thank you for stopping by and joining Diogenes Digital Campfire live storytelling sessions. I'll probably be back again around later. I do live writing editing sessions too, but those aren't quite as talkative as these. They're a little bit more slow. but I'm generally going to be active on the weekends with storytelling. I've got a 52 episode philosophical parable series called Thomas the Trailhound. That's my main thing. I've got roughly, I'd say, 5 or 10 years worth of storytelling and 20 novels and 15 novellas I plan on writing. So you're here early. You've hit the campfire in the building phase. I don't have many subscribers yet, but I'm going to tell you, if I speak the stories and honoring our my old storytelling ancestry of my Ojibwa and Irish ancestors, and I translate from spoken word to written word, the audience will listen and will read. And you, my friends, are some of the first here to the Dog's Digital Campfire. If you're still here or you're listening in the future, the great modern American cynic, Diogenes the Dog, wishes you well, fellow citizens of the digital agora. I know none of this is normal and it's all full of chaos and absurdity, but every day, Sisyphus, boulder, mountain, duty, choice. Woof. Diogenes out.